Is there a meditation or a process that people can do? Maybe it only takes a few seconds or a few moments that you can guide us with?
Yeah, there are a few, and they're all in the book as well. But I just want to preface that by saying part of my journey has been cultivating the art of noticing. And I learnt that by noticing beauty. So that's part of neuroaesthetics, which is this field of research I've written about the arts and beauty. So nature for me is the easiest place to do this. It'll be like, the spring blossoms, the flowers in LA, the autumn leaves on the East Coast, whatever. And I realized that the neuroplasticity set in really quickly because, I take on a neuroplasticity challenge every year.
Yeah.
It's normally quite hard and takes a while. But with this, very quickly, I noticed that like 10 plus times a day, I'd be saying, oh, isn't that so pretty? And I thought, okay, my brain's definitely
Looking for these things.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And finding them. So that helps you obviously then to notice signs because your whole saliency network of your brain is just like the filter is less harsh. And I've written about saliency and habituation in the book too. So I did chose a few meditations to do with our senses. And I'd like to share one now that is to do with the sense of sound and hearing.
Okay.
So if you'd like to join in the meditation, if you just close your eyes and sit with no arms or legs crossed. And we'll just start with a little bit of breath work just to get you into the zone. So just start by noticing your breath. Don't try to change anything, but as soon as you turn your attention to your breath, it usually does change. So just notice if the in-breath and the out-breath are of equal length, or if one is longer than the other. And then I'm just going to count you through breathing in for 4 and breathing out for 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And just repeat that for a few cycles in your mind. And then try to focus on making the out-breath 2 counts longer than the in-breath. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, repeat that for a few cycles. It just helps you to let go. And now I'd like you to take your attention away from your breath and just turn it inwards. And focus on the sound that you can hear that is closest to you. And now focus on the sound that seems furthest away from you. Try to move your attention away from the closest sound towards the furthest sound. And now turn your attention to the sound that you can hear that is the loudest. And then use your senses to locate the sound that is the quietest that you can hear. And then turn your attention away from the sounds around you and notice that whatever sounds are around you, however close, far, loud or quiet, there is always stillness within. And I want you to just sit in that place of stillness for a little while, just breathing. And when you're ready, you can flutter your eyelids open and bring yourself back into this room, back into your body, back into the here and now.
Relaxing. Wow. You need to do a meditation app next too. The voice is so soothing. It's so interesting just doing the listening meditation to sounds and noises and trying to put my attention like up in the upper balcony of like, can I hear a breath up there? It's like, just even if I can't hear it, how do I put my attention over there?
Yeah.
and then putting your attention into the stillness inside of you. It's just, that was very interesting.
Thanks.
And what does that meditative practice, that specific one, do for us to either heighten our senses or our attention, or how does it support us in tapping into these signs?
For me, that one is really about remembering in the most stressful moments that there's stillness within that you can access in a matter of minutes. There's another one which I would have liked to do, but it involves chewing a raisin for a minute, so it was a bit impractical.
Raisins.
But it's about, visualizing this grape growing in California under the sunshine and the rain, and being transported to your local town and your shop, and then you buying it, and so just really getting into that journey. But a lot of tapping into signs and your intuition starts with tapping into your senses. And so to ease people into the book, because obviously I knew there were going to be skeptics, the first main chapter of research is about the fact that humans, as far as we currently know, actually have 34 senses. And so most people don't know that. And I didn't until I did a literature review. I knew we had more than the 5 because I've been to medical school, obviously, but I didn't imagine it was anything like 34. So if you now know that you have 34 senses, and let me just give you a few examples. Taste is subdivided into 5. So it's bitter, sweet, salty, sour, and umami. And umami was only discovered in the 1980s. So, our understanding of what we're capable of is evolving quite a lot. But if you don't know that you have them, you can't be tapping into them. And that's an analogy for intuition, and it's also an analogy for signs.
So we have 5 tastes.
Yeah.
So umami, though, is recent, though? Is that a recent thing?
1980s.
I wonder if there's more senses that we haven't tapped into.
Well, the latest one that's been recognized physiologically as a sense is the immune system.
The sense of the immune system, what does that mean exactly?
So,
the immune system feels something?
In the book, I've described a sense as something where a stimulus acts on a receptor and it causes the production of a chemical that then has a cascade effect in the body. So, for example, a lot of people say intuition is our 6th sense, but intuition doesn't stimulate a receptor, so I've ruled that out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So intuition is not a sense.
Not in the strictest physiological terms.
What is intuition?
Intuition is all the life lessons that we picked up in life, but that we don't consciously remember. So it's the wisdom that we picked up that we have access to. It's not our logic, it's not emotional thinking, it's another way of thinking. And it's based on patterns that we recognize from life experience.
Does intuition come from the mind or the nervous system?
So I would have said, when I wrote The Source, and when I first came on your podcast, I would have said it comes from the mind, which is part of the brain and the central nervous system, and possibly the gut neurons, is called gut instinct. Now I've gone further with my research to say that it's coming from the tissues, the fascia, the musculature.
The whole body, everything in your whole body. Yeah. Your intuition is like every cell in your body.
Embodied,
embodied intuition. Why do so many of us go against our intuition? When it comes to relationships that later we're like, we knew they were the wrong person.
Yeah.
Or a business opportunity or a career. Or why do we go against intuition? And we make poor choices that we know, like in ourselves, we know something was off. I don't know if you've ever heard this story, but I've heard it so many times from women who have been divorced who said they knew on their wedding day that they were not, she laughs, she's the one who knew on her wedding day that she was not supposed to be with the person she was getting married to. I don't know, has anyone ever had that feeling or not heard that? It's like, after they get divorced, like, I knew on my wedding day. I'm like, well, if you knew, why would you go forward with this, right? It's like, but I can say that about me for all the dumb things I've done, right? So why do we do dumb things when our intuition tells us not to do it?
So I was going to start by saying I think society has conditioned us to believe in logic more than intuition. But I also think with the last part of what you just said is, why do we not listen? It's because we don't hear it, because we're not tapped into it, because of all the reasons that I said, we don't know that we've got 34 senses, so we're not tapped into them. I was lucky. I realized quite early on that I was intuitive. I would just have a sense that something was the right thing to do and I would go with it.
Yes.
And my husband at the time would really support that as well. So it nurtured it. Then I got into journaling practice, and that really helped me to write out all the dumb decisions that I made that went wrong and realize that I should have gone with my intuition. and to learn to take a healthier risk with that and go with my intuition where, perhaps it would feel like it would make more sense, even if I made the wrong decision, to explain to you, well, logically, this was the reason.
Right. On paper, he looked good, right? Yeah, on paper, it all looked like it was supposed to work out. That's what you always hear.
I mean, for the most important decisions of my life, like my life partner, I would absolutely go with my intuition now that I, feel like I've like grown it to the point that I can trust it so much. But also for me, and like the people I teach at MIT, for example, at the business school, I had to put the science behind it. So in the source, I wrote about how, and on your previous podcast with you, I've talked about how intuition works through Hebbian learning in the body, in the nerves. But in this book, I've written about how it works really like from your entire being.
From the whole being. Mm-hmm. When you have an opportunity that comes in your life, or a person you meet, or something that you're given opportunity to do, do you have like a strategy now that you say yes or no to based on your intuition? Is there like something you say it needs to be a hell yes, or it's a no? Or is there something you feel out more until you feel like, okay, my intuition is telling me this could be a good thing? Because maybe you know right away, maybe you don't. Maybe it takes time to know if like something's going to be the right thing for you. Because a lot of people, I feel like, get stuck. Just they're not sure how to make a decision either way.
Yeah.
And so they're in the middle, right? It's like they don't just fully commit. They don't say no. They're just like, let's feel it out. So how do we know when to say yes to the project, yes to the person, yes to the possibility? And it doesn't mean that things going to always work out, I guess, but I don't know. How do we know it's going to be the right thing for us right now?
So that's a really good question, because in terms of the neuroscience, that limbo place of like not being able to take a decision one way or the other is actually the worst place for your brain to be in. So it's better to make a decision than not make one at all. And what I've learned, I do trust my intuition and I feel like it's right most of the time, but I've also learned that if I take a step in one direction and it turns out to be like, either I make it work, or if it turns out to not be the right decision, then I make that right somehow. And I trust myself that that's what I'll always do.
And I guess we probably need to make a lot of wrong decisions for us to have the wisdom, to have the intuition, to know what to do in the future.
Yeah.
We need to make some mistakes.
And you build that up by taking a risk on smaller things, not taking a risk on like the biggest thing, like buying your home or something like that.
Right.
And people experience this in different ways. So there are some phrases which are quite new age, I suppose, like clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, and oh my God, don't do this to me. Clairvoyance, the most obvious one. So that is, clairvoyance is seeing something and knowing that it's right. Clairaudience is hearing it. Personally, I experience probably what's closest to claircognizance, which is I just know something's right.
What's it called?
Cognizance, so like
cognizance,
your cognition. And clairsentience is feeling in your body that it's right. So that may appeal to different people. You may receive it in like a different modality. But I do believe that journaling and reading over your journal entries is a really good start. There's a couple of exercises in the book that are combining physicality and your mind to access your intuition.
So those are some things that they can do. Yeah. What about listening to your friends or your family if they say, no, they're not right for you? Should you trust the intuition of the people closest to you, or do they not really know your intuition?
Only you know your intuition, but I do think that running your intuition by your own logic and also by past the logic of someone you really trust is a good thing to do, especially if you're not like 100% sure on your intuition. If I have a dilemma, I will pick 3 friends to ask for their opinion, and I'll pick people that I know will challenge me and like criticize my thinking. And I always say, I know exactly what situation you're asking about. If one person doesn't like your prospective partner, that's their opinion. But if 4 or 5 of your friends don't, you probably need to listen.
Yeah, right? It's like, and how do you know, like, you hear this a lot about in relationships, like my parents or my family didn't like this guy or this girl or whatever, but I just so connected. We have so much love. Like, if someone's family or closest friends don't think it's the right choice, do you think they still have the ability to make a beautiful relationship? Or what is that?
As my best friend once put it to me, which has stayed with me for so long, like, however much people love you and care for you, everyone has an agenda for you.
They have an agenda.
Yeah. And even if it's obviously that they don't want you to get heartbroken or something, that's still their agenda.
Uh-huh.
I really do believe that you know, you've got to live your life to the fullest. If one thing I've learned from losing my husband is that every second, every decision is such a privilege. And I feel like, you know, I could have gone down such a road of becoming so bitter and thinking like life had treated me so unfairly, but it took me years, as you know, but I've come out of it thinking I am so lucky to be alive. I have to throw myself into this life with everything that I've got.
Wow.
And if that includes future heartbreak, so be it. It's not going to kill me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy this and you want more inspirational content, make sure to click the subscribe button below and click right here to watch what's coming next.